let's talk about our hero, Rusty Wallace's hero, your hero, mine. Many people in the Midwest. You were just at the Larry Phillips Memorial, and I thought it was really awesome because you're somewhat shy, but I saw you giving a little talk before the race, and that made me very happy, and I commented on it. You responded. Tell me about the Larry Phillips Memorial over the weekend.
Well, it was a great event, and Terry was there. And when you see Terry, you see Larry. You
Boy,
know,
don't
you
you?
see the mannerisms, you see that stuff.
Smart
And
ass.
I spent the whole night telling stories
Yep.
and remembering 1977 when we raced out at the fairgrounds. And I, of course, every time I tell any story back then, Rusty's in it. Rusty was a huge figure in my life and in my career all the way back to 1977. But yeah, it was just an absolute honor to be a part of it and to see people and try to remind people they don't realize Larry Phillips was a racing god. Absolutely. And you know, I know that it's probably going to come up, but I can't hold back here. The reason that Larry, in my opinion, the reason Larry's not in the Hall of Fame is because none of the people that are voting for him ever had to race against him or watched him race. And if they had, he'd already be in.
The NASCAR Hall of Fame. Now, this is my opinion, but I want to hear what you say. It just seems like the NASCAR Hall of Fame is Northeast dominant. Richie Evans, Cook. It just seems like everybody that votes, everybody that goes at Hall of Fame. Now, listen, I love Dave Moody, but he's just Northeast. And just everybody in NASCAR is Northeast. Why is Larry Phillips the great one right there with Dick Trickle? Why is he not in the NASCAR Hall of Fame? And you already said a little bit, but I want you to expand on that. And am I right? What is this voting system?
Well, you know, unfortunately, every year when he misses the cut and doesn't get in, somebody new comes into the fold, and they, you know, and they're picked, you know, above Larry. Now, your little paper there should say that he won something like 88% of every single race NASCAR, you know, weekly regional race he ever ran.
NASCAR regional.
Yeah, that's like all but 12 out of 100 or something like that. You know, that's 88 out of 100. It's unbelievable what he did in the NASCAR regional. You know, I don't have great confidence that he'll ever make it in because you know, someone new comes in every time that one goes out, and you know, they you know, he's just not recognized for what he really did accomplish. And of course, Rusty, you and I are biased because we knew him besides NASCAR Weekly racing program. We knew that he was just he was a racing god, a late model racing god.
And he built all his own race cars, and then he built the Ed Howe by Phillips, which my dad had one. Rusty had one. Did you ever have one of Larry's cars?
Oh yeah.
Right.
I took my '55 Chevy up there. My dad did in '75, and had Larry put a roll cage in it because we built our first car with water pipe, and so and then the next year we went to late model, and Larry built a late model and hung the body on it. Actually, put a Camaro body on it, and so we ran that all of '76. Won a bunch of races with it. So. And then in '77, the day I graduated from high school, I went to Springfield and got an apartment, and Larry gave me my first job, and he was testing me. The first day he opened up that door on Commercial Street, that back door, roll-up door, Dodge door, and there was an old Camaro sitting out there, and he said, "It's a streetcar, you know," and I got from a junkyard or something, gut that thing out. And don't hurt the body. You know, cut all the interior out of it, but don't hurt the body.
That's a nasty job.
It's a nasty job, and I got right after it. I was tickled to death. I was going to learn how to be a shop guy and a fabricator and all that stuff. And Larry gave me my first job.
And my experience with Larry is that if you were worried about feelings, you should never be around him.
Yeah.
That's why us Midwesterners, I guess, are a little rough around the edges. I'll never forget, as a little kid, I might have been 9 years old, and I'm at Springfield, Missouri, where you and Rusty and Mark went at, you, Rusty, and Larry, Ozark Empire Fairgrounds, Springfield, Missouri. And somebody comes up and they're just aggravating Larry for an autograph after the race. Larry, sign my autograph. And he said, boy, here's the dime. Call somebody who cares. I ain't got time right now. Because that's what the phone call would cost back then, 10 cents. And that, as a little kid, I'll never forget. He didn't have time. He was busy making a living.
That's right. He did. He had very little help. He worked on his cars, built those cars, and had some volunteer help. And that was the extent of it.
Well, Mark, before we go to the next subject, I'm just going to say this. I just can't fathom in my brain that Mark Martin, NASCAR Hall of Famer, Rusty Wallace, NASCAR Hall of Famer, Jamie McMurray, Carl Edwards, 4 of the best NASCAR drivers in history say, hey, why is Larry Phillips not in? And that nobody listens. It's their loss. And I'm going to leave it right there. I just cannot get over that. And Mark, you're right. It's no, I'm saying this. They just never raced again. But here you all did, and I knew. So